3 races and $6 million to go. The Breeders' Cup Mile won by Royal Heroine moments ago. The scene in the winner's circle, Michael J. Rorty, Executive Vice President of Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, and Brown L. Combs, the second Vice President of the Breeders' Cup, presented the trophy to Robert Sangster, owner of Royal Heroine. With his reaction, let's go to Michael O'Hare.
Well, down here we have the big people of the big race, or that big race anyway. Robert Sangster. Robert, you get tired winning all these big races.
Never, Michael. I was second in the Australian Derby last week and third in the Melbourne Cup, so it was nice to win a race.
How come Royal Heroine was the main one of yours that was entered for the Breeders' Cup Series? You have a lot of good horses in Europe. Was there something behind this?
I think we were lucky, really. We foresaw that Leafior was standing in Japan and wouldn't be qualified for the Breeders' Cup. So Luca Camani, who had Ptolomeo, he and I got together and we put Leafior in the Breeders' Cup so that we could qualify for the race. Otherwise, should have been like Committed, who wasn't in the race.
In other words, you entered this one when the Tsar was way...
When the Tsar was in Japan, we paid the money to qualify the filly.
Brough, over to you.
Yes, and Fernando Torres with us here. A wonderful race, Fernando, a real big winner. Tell us through it after the last turn, because that was when everyone was beginning to come tight.
I was a little bit concerned about when a horse moved on the outside of me, and I didn't want to move too soon, and I decided to stay right behind the leaders. At one point, the horse on the outside started to stop, and I gave me the chance to get in the clear. And I knew right away after she got in the clear, she accelerated and she was gone.
And an American record. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Royal Heroine, the winner. This Breeders' Cup is the brainchild of Kentucky horseman John Gaines. It's a remarkable concept, and Mr. Gaines and his associates in racing should be tremendously proud. Tom?
John, the first Breeders' Cup day is a reality. What were you trying to accomplish?
Well, Tom, the Irish have got a marvelous proverb. They say that the outside of a horse is good for the inside of a man. We're here to celebrate the beauty, the character, the indomitable courage, and the majesty of the thoroughbred with everyone who has eyes to see. The thoroughbred is the fastest animal in the world. He's man's oldest friend on earth, and 10,000 of my fellow breeders have put up their money, their time, their talents, their energies, their convictions for making the Breeders' Cup possible, and I want to thank them, and all of racing wants to thank them for starting a new tradition whereby the sport of kings will also become known as the king of sports.
From all of us, bravo, Mr. Gaines. This day is the beginning of a great tradition. The Breeders' Cup hopefully will continue to serve the best interests of racing. Coming to this big day, trainer Wayne Lucas has felt extremes, highs and lows. He lost Landaluce and Saratoga 6, two premier runners, but when he chatted with Pete, the philosophical Lucas helped put racing's extremes in proper perspective.
What kind of philosophy do you have to get through the highs and lows that we've been talking about?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you got to do is you got to, when you're up there and you're down there and they're throwing the flowers over the horse and everybody's high-fiving it, it's a great day and you've just won one of those grade ones or a Breeders' Cup or a Kentucky Derby, you've got to soak that up and store it away. And then when the bottom hits, it'll not be easy, but I think if you can draw on that and say, look, I've been lucky. I've been lucky personally. Wayne Lucas has been lucky. I've lost Landaluce. Now I've lost a good horse in Saratoga 6. But gosh, I've got the Lice Magics, and I've had the Terlinguas and the Altheas and a lot of good horses down through the years. And our whole stable's run well. So I count my blessings every day, knowing that it's a fleeting moment of fame. And when I have the big moments, I store them. And when I have the bad ones, I reach back into the storeroom and pull it back out.
Yeah, the colorful Lucas, a former assistant basketball coach at the University of Wisconsin. He'll be saddling Life's Magic and Lucky 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 in the upcoming 1 1/4 quarter distaff. Lucas, with $4.6 million, leads all trainers in '84. Speaking of millionaires, earlier we featured Seattle Slew, the former Triple Crown winner, and now a sensational sire. Well, here's another Northern Dancer whose outstanding record as a progenitor has raised his stud fee to nearly $750 million.
Here comes Big Daddy, or Little Daddy really, because Northern Dancer is not much over 15 hands. But at 23, his reputation has never been higher. He is the stallion that has made the breeding scene into an international jackpot. He started by being the first Canadian horse to win the Kentucky Derby. And although he failed to complete the Triple Crown, he carries his racetrack vitality into the stallion life in a quite remarkable way. And now, 20 years on from Churchill Downs, and with people paying as much as $700,000 a mating, the little fella still likes to go to war.
When a horse fan comes in to bring a mare to be bred, he thinks every mare is his mare. Fact is, he would get so worked up about it that we had to change his stall in the stallion barn. His old stall faced the breeding shed, and when he'd hear that truck come rolling up, why, he would stand up on his hind legs, put his feet on the window, and look out to see who was coming. And he wants to be the first one out to be turned out to paddock, and he wants to be the first one to come in. To himself, he is king of the mountain, and no sooner does he walk out of his stall than he's on stage, and he knows he's good, and the world knows he's good.
But all this fuss has not really been because of success at home. He's never sired a Kentucky Derby winner. His triumphs have been in Europe, at places like Epsom Downs, where the English Derby is run each June, which remains the most coveted prize for 3-year-olds in the world. Northern Dancer has sired 3 Epsom winners, and this year 2 of his sons had it between them. Northern Dancer's first and second is the sort of success that has made the millionaires like the Sheikhs and the Robert Sangster syndicate come here to the yearling sales to pay millions.
Sold $10,200,000.
$10 million for a yearling, it seems ludicrous, but not always. This is Sharif Dancer. He cost $3 million as a yearling, but by winning this race put 10 times on his value. It was a touch to challenge even those of the most famous Northern Dancer supporter of all, Robert Sangster.
I suppose Vincent O'Brien, John Magner and Northern Dancer have been the 100% success. I mean, this year at the moment I've got 120 mares in foal to Northern Dancer or sons of Northern Dancer. I mean, I'll keep where we've drilled oil, we'll keep going back there.
Is this the most important oil well in the world?
Oh yeah, horse race, yeah.
Big talk from the big spenders across the water. But in truth, Northern Dancer still needs something to complete his book back home.
I'd wish for that Kentucky Derby winner for him.